Hi guys, it's Ashley here of Stacks in the City, and I want to say hello. Welcome to my wonderful, crazy, amazing world of personal finance. If you guys haven't done so already, please make sure that you subscribe in the little subscription box below. I'm going to work on putting it in the actual video. Please tell your friends. And today I'm going to be responding to a very highly sought out video. A lot of you guys have asked me about books that I recommend about personal finance and money management and all that fun stuff. And I'm like, oh God, do I have plenty? Do I have plenty? Can we see that? Do I have plenty of books for you? We're going to talk all about these. I love reading, you all. And I think I've said this before. I am an avid reader. I do believe that reading is going to help us get our money right. I do believe that reading is going to be the difference between not being financially savvy and being financially savvy and making decisions, good decisions based on what you know and what you're reading. Knowledge truly is power. It really is everything. Like, y'all need to be out there reading. Okay, another point I want to make is that a lot of my books are mentality based, because for me, at least for me, with my personal finance journey, it's not necessarily about like the Excel spreadsheets or budgeting and all that fun stuff. It really is about the emotional purchase that we make in our lives, or the why behind why we spend what we spend. And I think once we tackle the inside of how we spend, it's much easier to control where our money is going. Without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get started. All right. Where to start? I don't even know. I don't even know where to start. Okay, the first book I recommend is The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas Stanley. Can we see that? Wow, my lighting needs help. She's a little jank, but I do recommend this book because it gave me a really great glimpse of how a true millionaire lives and works. And essentially, they're like regular. They live beneath their means. They save money to their 401ks or retirements. They don't drive fancy cars. They just prioritize saving a little bit. The idea is that a little bit goes a long way. The biggest takeaway I got from this book is that you don't have to be lavish in order to be wealthy. In fact, most wealthy people do not have and live very lavish, fancy lifestyles. They're just everyday, regular people who are putting money away in the bank. So for me, the book was like, wow, like I thought that millionaires were the ones driving Bentleys and living in mansions and all that fun stuff. And that may be true. Some of them might very well be doing that. But the real OG millionaires are not fancy at all. And I think about that, it actually makes some kind of sense. Yeah, so definitely recommend that book just for an idea of how a true millionaire or your average everyday American millionaire is gonna live. My next book that I have is not mentioned. I don't have the book I guess someone borrow it and I don't think I got it back. But it's called You Are a Badass at Making Money. It is a sequel to her You Are a Badass book, and she has like a whole series about this. Basically, it's a mentality about why you're not earning the money that you have or why you don't have the money that you deserve. And she gives you these exercises. So you have to write a letter to yourself about your money and your money habits. And you have to read the letter out loud and always assess the letter. Or you have to manifest more money into your life. And when you manifest the money in your life, it's supposed to come. It's really all mindset. This is a very mindset book. So if you're looking for a book about getting your money right, that like nooks and crannies and all that fun stuff, that's not gonna do it for you. It really is gonna be like mentality. But I like mentality books, you guys. I'm really big. So definitely recommend that, and I'll put that on the link below to Amazon. My next book here is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I think I said that right. Y'all, I read this book on my vacation to the DR, and I couldn't put it down. It was so great. And essentially, this book is again a comparison of wealthy people versus not wealthy people and how they interpret money and interpret wealth. He went ham on like Poor Dad, and essentially Poor Dad is very well educated. Poor Dad is working a 9-to-5 job. Poor Dad doesn't have any money in the bank. Poor Dad doesn't have any assets. Poor Dad is spending a lot of their money on liabilities, so cars, houses they can't afford. Whereas Rich Dad may or may not have went to college. Rich Dad started their own business. Rich Dad is working on the business, not in the business. Like, wow, this book's really interesting about, you know, the comparisons between wealthy people and poor people. So those who have wealth, who have assets, versus those who basically just flaunt, flex, and stunt for a living. A big takeaway I got from that is that wealthy people, Rich Dad uses assets to purchase luxuries, versus Poor Dad uses their paycheck. So they're earning money, like they're physically working for money to purchase luxuries. Rich Dad is using like equity to buy something fancy. So they're not physically working to get the luxuries. Really big takeaway about assets. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. So definitely recommend that book. So those books I all read in its entirety, like cover to cover. This book, and those again are a bit more mentality books. This is going to be a little bit more about like more nuts and bolts about how to. So this is the book I've talked about before, Invested by Danielle Town. She is the daughter of Phil Town, who created the #1 Rule, which is a book about investing. It's a New York Times bestseller. I have not personally read that book, but I've heard really great reviews about it. This man is apparently always getting really high returns, so he's talking about it. So basically the book's about his daughter, who even though grew up around her dad, who knows all about stock markets and investing, she knows nothing about it, and it talks about her year-long journey into understanding the stock market. I love this book because it's written by a woman. The other books are written by men. This is written by a woman. It has very much so the voice of a person who has no idea about the stock market. Each chapter, she's trying to understand and delve her knowledge and interest. The book is very well written. I think it's very engaging, especially for a topic that can be very, very overwhelming to a lot of us, especially as females. I have not finished this book yet, you guys. I'm about halfway through. And the reason why I'm not all the way done with this book is because it is very much so a read slowly kind of book. There's a lot of activity, like interaction with the book, if that makes any sense. So right now I have to read Warren Buffett's letters to his shareholders. Yo, he's had letters since the 70s. So I got a lot of reading to do. I'm in the 80s. And she argues that these letters are really, really important to read because they give you a lot of insight into Warren Buffett's mind. Again, he really is like the OG of the stock market. So this is very interactive. I definitely recommend this, but you have to do everything she's telling you to do. That's how I've gotten more confident in my stock market game and all that fun stuff. So great book. The next book I recommend you all is, and this is for real estate investing. This is the Book of Rental Property Investing. This is by Brandon Turner. He is part of the host of the Bigger Pockets podcast and the Bigger Pockets blog. If you guys are really into real estate investing, I definitely recommend that you use them as a resource, the Bigger Pockets community, because it is all real estate from all facets, all markets, all across the country. Everybody is on Bigger Pockets. I purchased the book because I really wanted a step-by-step on real estate investing. I have not finished this book, you all. I haven't even really gotten into it, honestly, which is kind of bad. I haven't even really read this book like that. I need to read it. I actually really do. Because I think it's because I've done a lot of the stuff in the book already. I purchased this book after I bought my second property. And not that I don't need it, which is not true, but I definitely recommend this book if you want a dumbed down, step-by-step, slow way of getting your real estate life right, getting your real estate life nice and tight. If you don't know where to start, you start here. And again, I'm a really, really, really big advocate of their podcast. I love the podcast. I listen to the podcast a lot. And I do look at their online message boards and communities. So that's kind of where I get all their resources from. But this book is great. I also thought this was going to be more commercial real estate, which is what I want to get into. So it's more on residential properties, which is fine. So if you don't know where to start when it comes to investing in the market, definitely get this book, guys. Okay, so I wanted to save the best for last. This is my favorite book, literally of all time. In fact, I think I'm gonna start reading this book again. And it's called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This book has nothing to do with money, not really. I mean, you could apply it for anything in your life. But this book has changed my life. I purchased my second property because of reading this book, my second home. And it basically gives you a step-by-step process on how people become millionaires, how they become wealthy. And it all starts with a desire, so a burning passion to want something. I don't know, it's like everything that you think about when it comes to success or no success is all here. So definitely recommend this book. You have to get this book. You should get out of all the books, this book should be the first one that you buy because it will help you get your money right and help you get the mentality right and get your money right. Okay, all right, guys. Woo! Guys, I really hope that you go on Amazon or a Kindle, or I don't even know where people get books, the library, and get on these books, get on these titles. Please get at it, and happy reading, and let me know if there's a book that you've read that you suggest that I should read, because I love reading and I love really fun titles and recommendations. All right, guys, thanks again as always for listening, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye, y'all.